discuss some AI here for the next 30 minutes or so, and then we're going to jump back into some chat here on Clubhouse. So some of the great topics we were talking about today. If you heard Uncle John earlier, he went over some stuff that I want to kind of continue that conversation a little bit after we're done here. But as always at this time, I want to talk about AI because here on Clubhouse, I am Matt GPT, always known as Matt McHale. And I come in to talk about this AI and all the things that are going on in the world of AI. So apparently I'm not going live on LinkedIn because StreamYard's having a problem with that. So, but I'm live on YouTube and Facebook. So with that being said, I am going to do a little room reset here on Clubhouse. I always like to have my boy G come in and do a room reset for us. So let me hand that over to him, and then we'll get started.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Breakfast with Champions. We are live on Clubhouse starting at 4 a.m. Eastern with our expert hosts who provide motivation, education, and inspiration to help you live your best life and grow your business. Be sure to continue the conversation with us on the Facebook page. Good morning, Matt. How are you? This has been an eventful week in the world of AI.
Matt, are we
Now
supposed to
we
be
know
doing
the
the
cloud
reset
strike
right now?
glitch that
You can't hear
disrupted
it?
airlines and commerce
No, I
has
just hear
raised
you
concerns
clicking.
about AI integration
Really?
and potential risks.
Hmm.
Meta's release of Llama
Maybe
3.1,
ask AI
a
what.
family of
No.
open source AI models available for public
I'm here
use,
to find on my
advancements in AI
roadcaster,
training and
unfortunately.
search
So,
capability.
all right, all sorts of technical issues today. So
Yay!
we'll just move
That,
past that for now. So
that makes it fun.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if you are on Clubhouse, you can click on that link at the top, and I will be covering the different things there. So it'll show everything I'm talking about, as well as the links to the different articles and systems that I am talking about. But the first thing I do want to discuss, not really AI news from the week, but CloudStrike. And I was reading a lot on CloudStrike and some of the things we've learned from it since it shut down the airlines and crippled for a day. And then looking at that, is that kind of the canary in the coal mine, so to speak, showing us that, we're probably not ready for AI to really roll out and control a lot of these systems, and looking at that and seeing what would happen on a larger scale if we did have AI controlling things, and we do see this happen. So, if we compare, 1995, there was a Windows 95 bug that could remotely crash system. And it showed how the severity of these incidents increased because of our reliance on technology. But, at the time, as much as we were depending on Windows 95 and using that, it certainly was not integrated into the computer systems and what we have now in modern society, and centralizing a lot of those things. And that's why we saw why CloudStrike, something like that, had such a profound effect on everything across the board here. So if we have AI as this new operating system and its potential widespread integration, because of the rapid growth that we're seeing within AI, what would be happen if something on that scale happened with a system like that? That would be so dependent on AI and touching so many systems at the same time. So really, when we look at this, we really have to be cautious when deploying AI into critical sectors and identifying key areas of concern. Obviously, there's so many, the Terminator and so many other science fiction movies that have depicted this. And once they hit the switch, and AI took over, it took over the world and destroyed humankind. So, but that it is something that we have to look at, and certainly look at what kind of fall safes we can have in place, the amount of testing, thorough testing that has to be done, and definitely look at the critical, the infrastructures and things of that nature, where it would be absolutely a lot better to have AI systems in there because of all it can do and help with, but also we could see the potential downfall of not only the system having a problem, but obviously from a hacker, from a someone attacking the system standpoint. So the whole AGI will fix it thought process is something we really need to take a look at and really think about moving forward to do that. So I think as bad as CloudStrike was, I think it showed us, where things could go really, really bad and the potential of what could happen. So I think we just need to, as we move along with AI, and I encourage people to use it in their businesses, in their personal life, and using systems. And that's why I talk about every week. But from a larger scale, I always say, we have institutional and individual. From an individual standpoint, things can happen. From an institutional standpoint, as soon as you get into that and get into larger scale things, that's where we can really see problems come about from that. So I think it was just a good warning, a good a dry run of things that could happen if we continue to look at this and have AI get into systems too quick moving forward. So, but getting into some the AI news, Meta had a big release. So Meta is Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. So all of those things. They're Llama 3.1. So Llama is their AI system. Llama 3.1 has now been released. It's an open source model. So a lot of different systems can use it, and you can use it. I talk a lot about, you have the large language models and using these things within your company or within, things that you want to do. You have to find those open source, or you have to use those APIs to do that. And then you can create these closed-in systems. And we've talked a lot about that in a few weeks of, protecting your data and protecting information and doing that. So Llama is an open source system. They have now launched 3.1, which is absolutely competing with everything out there, and in some cases surpassing it. There's three different levels of it, kind of like, just like OpenAI and Claude and everything has done with that. So there's a 405, 70, and 8. So if you can look at the link and you can go into, and it'll talk about why, what does that mean and why that. But the 405 model is available in WhatsApp and the Meta AI chatbot, and they will be releasing that to Instagram and Facebook. It hasn't been released there yet. But the Llama itself excels in math and common sense with 128 token context window. And even the smallest, the 8B, outperformed OpenAI's Chat GPT-4 Mini, outperformed the Mini, not the full system, but so their Mini has outperformed GPT's Mini on a lot of the the capabilities and the different ways that this is being measured. So again, being open source, it allows you to examine, modify, and build on its code, and potentially leads to numerous new AI applications that people can use this and build, kind of the ideas or the things that they're working on, being able to use this AI as the background or the foundation, so to speak. So also introduced real-time image generation capabilities across its platforms, so enabling users to create custom images through text prompts. And obviously, creating text through that, Facebook and Instagram, and we talked a lot about that. How they're trying to mark what things are being used as far as AI generation and marking that off. And there's even some other things I'll talk about here in a few minutes about some of the things that the board at Meta has looking at, and how things are being done, and things are being run. But the image capability is really nice. So I went in and did some things there, and you can go in and start using this now. So highly encourage you to check it out and play around with it. Again, you can go directly to Llama's interface and be able to do that. But it'll come to you if you're a Facebook or Instagram user. If you're using WhatsApp now, it's going to come to you anyway. So it's really good. In addition to being on Meta, it's also going to be in Rock, Amazon, and Bedrock and Perplexity right now. So there's other systems that are using that are doing that as well. So speaking of Grok, has lots, not only direct interface now. So before you're just kind of using this through X, formerly Twitter, being able to go in there, but Grok is now, it has go to x.ai/Grok. You can go and use that directly. But they also the other day launched a pretty big project. So this tweet by Elon, nice work by the XAI team, the X team, NVIDIA that I've talked a lot about, and supporting companies and getting Memphis supercluster training started at 4:20 a.m. local time. I don't know if they purposely used 4:20. If you know, you know. But with 100K liquid cooling H100s and a single RDMA fabric. It's the most powerful AI training cluster in the world. So Elon is saying this significant advantage in training the world's most powerful AI by every metric by December of this year. So he has plans that by December, this will be the most powerful AI system out there. So we continue to see these large language models going back and forth and fighting over dominance to see who will be on top ultimately. One of the ways they're competing is in the search game. So we talked before about search and what Google was doing with their search and trying some things out, and some of it didn't work out for them very well, and they kind of fell flat on their face with some of the search terms and some of the things that were going on because it was taking away from the websites. It was taking away from people going and visiting the website, and people certainly didn't like that. Obviously, the way Google works now, you search. You find the information and you go to someone's website, and you can click on the paid ads on Google to get people to come to your site. So if you have all that and you're doing the blogs and you're putting all the information out there, people don't want AI just going out, finding that information and summarizing it so they don't have to leave the search. So that's going to be the back and forth of this, and really trying to figure out what's the best way to do it. Obviously, from Google's standpoint, when this happened, they quickly rolled back and need to figure this out because they make a lot of money now from the pay-per-click, from the Google ads. Other companies don't have to worry about that. So OpenAI now has their Search GPT prototype is going to be available. You can go on and join the wait list. So if you go to openai.com, you can just go to Search GPT, and you can go ahead and sign up for that. So this will be a prototype to combat Google search and other search engines that are out there. So they're saying Search GPT is going to be the fastest way. It's designed to give you the answer quickly, real-time information from relevant sources, and being able to take anything real-time and bring it into it in a natural, more intuitive way to search and give the information. And this will deliver all the information as well as use AI to maybe explain some of the information or go deeper into some of the things you're searching on, and never having to leave the search. Again, from a user standpoint, that's great. From a business standpoint, not the best thing, because it's going out and finding information and searching the web and searching your website and other websites to find this. And obviously, I talked a lot about OpenAI's cutting deals and doing things to be able to find more information to do this, but ultimately they're going to have all the information there to be able to keep you within their system. So this is something we're going to see going back and forth within this search game, but this is huge. Obviously, the way we use it, especially when we're starting to interface our phones more and more into it. Obviously, Android has certainly interfaced a lot faster than the iPhone. But the iPhone with the new 16 that's launching in the fall will have integration, and we'll continue to build upon that. So being able to find that information, using these systems to do it for the individual will be great. Bing also has an answer to Google AI's overview. So the overview, again, was taking the information and giving a summarization of it, doing that. So Bing has now launched something on their end. So now you have OpenAI doing it. We have Bing doing it. And we've had Perplexity doing it. If you're not using Perplexity right now, and if you look at Perplexity's interface, it reminds me a lot of what OpenAI is doing with their system, and how they're kind of looking at this, and to lay it out and easily give the information back to it. So Perplexity has been out for a while now. People have been using that. And they had one of the things they've had problems with is how the returning some of the information. So they've addressed navigational prompts and have brought back a single destination link for the information, as opposed to kind of gathering the information and you didn't know where to go beyond that. So they're working on that and trying to figure those things out as we go along. But again, I've talked about this search game for a while, and this is going to be a big part of the large language models as they continue to compete and kind of look at these things. There's also Perplexity has been sent quite a few cease and desist letters Codename NAS was the last one to send it. So they continue to send the search, the cease and desist to the companies, trying to protect the data. And I talk about this all the time, this back and forth between the companies and the information that's out there, and trying to get more information for the large language models. And can they go through that and figure all those things out there? So that continues to be a problem. I talked about this last week. Runway. Now we know for sure Runway ripped off YouTube creators. There was a leaked internal document shows Runway celebrated Gen 3 AI video generator collected thousands of YouTube videos and pirated movies for training data. So again, the YouTube video, that's one thing. Again, it's out there public. People can see that. You can watch those things. So those systems looking at that, I'm kind of back and forth. I can see both sides of it. It's tough to say which way it should go. The pirated movies, obviously, that's illegal. But they used all those in training their system. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think there's going to be a class action lawsuit against them. Is that something we'll be able to shut down the system? Is that something? Because most of the time we see these court cases and we see this stuff going on, they don't go well for the people coming after the companies. The courts are saying, like, look, the information's out there, and they're taking it and putting it out there in a different way. So a lot of authors sued their book, but they're like, yeah, your book is available now. So all the system is doing is reading your book and presenting it. It's not giving the book to people, but people can find the information in the book and look those things up. So it's a different way of presenting that information out to people. So we'll continue to see these lawsuits and continue to see what happens there. But I think they're pushing a boulder uphill there, trying to stop these systems from getting the information. Over at Google DeepMind, AI achieves a silver medal standard solving international mathematical Olympiad problems. So we continue to see AI and the performance and sometimes the overperformance of these systems, and especially in the STEM realm with science and math, and being able to, we talked about the LSATs, the MCATs, all the different tests it's been able to pass. And it just continues to grow in that area and continues to do that. A friend of mine I've known since high school, works over at Google. I hope he retires soon so I can start bringing him in and getting information at him. But right now, Google has him locked down. He won't tell me anything. But I have a feeling he's behind some of this stuff because he was the top of our class and went from high school to Caltech and obviously over to Silicon Valley. So we continue to see those systems grow in that area. We talked about this last week. But in Dora Maria's segment after I got done, we were continuing conversation around AI. And Dora Maria brought up that LinkedIn has turned to AI games to build a daily habit among users. So you talk about some of these games and some of these things that some will call distraction, some will call waste of time, but we see a lot of people doing them. So if we look at LinkedIn, if I go to my LinkedIn here, we can see, over on the right-hand side, you have the LinkedIn news. So they're using AI to put together, news that, they think that the user is going to be interested in, looking at the comments and posts and everything, and they'll use AI to summarize the news. But they also have today's puzzle games. So let's see, Queens, Pinpoint, and Cross Climb. I know a lot of these, Wordle, is that what's called, I think. A lot of those games are very popular. I don't play them, but that is something that LinkedIn is seeing and now is using AI. We talked a lot about how you can use AI for quizzes and games and other things to be able to do that. So they're seeing that and recognizing, hey, that's something that people can capture their attention. So they're trying to do that more and more. And it's an interesting dynamic. I think Facebook definitely lends itself more to game playing and things of that nature versus LinkedIn. It was supposed to be business. But I think they're struggling, trying to find their identity and trying to continue to keep users on the platform. So this is a way that they're trying to make it happen. We'll see what goes on there. So a couple more stories here. We're seeing a increase in web domains blocking the AI models from training data. So, and this is in response to building out these searches, building these things out there. And I'm curious if we're going to see something come out that's going to make it easier for smaller businesses, individuals to be able to put some of these blocks on the AI models and block from their information. Because again, if a bot can go onto your website, crawl all this, get the information, put it back into the system, and then people don't have to come and read the blogs and other information you're creating there, obviously that becomes a big problem. It also makes it more difficult where if you're trying to block Google from their bot and an SEO standpoint and the information, does that block Google from taking it for their system? So you can block, but then that could affect your SEO. That can affect other things. So it's a catch-22 there of trying to protect your data, but protect it too much where, if SEO and those things are important to you, that becomes a problem. There's some sites out there that not as much a big deal, and they don't worry about it. So they don't worry about it as much. So, but that we see that happening a lot. There's a link to a really good white paper that's was a large scale survey experiment. It linked to a in Denmark surveying 100,000 workers from 11 exposed occupations, and documented ChatGPT is widespread and the effects that it's having on them, and how workers in some instances have reported they're able to do their work in half the time using ChatGPT. So that's a quick summary of a pretty long white paper if you wanted to read. I did start reading it. Interesting to see the different things and how they're looking at the different job tasks in the different areas where it happened. And so if you want to go look at that and talks about, which ones it's working better in and those things, definitely worth checking out and going look at that white paper. Again, if you're on Clubhouse, I have the link at the top. You can find all these links. If you're looking at YouTube or Facebook, I update these links later so you can go find links to all this stuff. You can also just Google it and find the information. Not that hard. Going back to Meta, their oversight board tells the company to clean up their rules on AI-generated pornography. That's something that Meta is very careful about, as opposed to X or some other platforms with pornography. As a matter of fact, talking about the Olympics earlier, as we were in Clubhouse, and I uploaded a photo to kind of show my point about something was going on there, and they quickly deleted the photo, saying it was pornography, which I do agree with them. It just should have been the opening Olympics, but that's a whole other story. But that was deleted quickly, and now with AI generated pornography, that's something that I think has been a little more difficult to detect and going through all those things. There was a deep fake AI porn bill has passed the Senate. So it's the Defiance Act. And this was pushed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has been a victim of AI deep fakes, and people like Megan Thee Stallion and others, Taylor Swift. So the Defiance Act is disrupt explicit forged images and non-consensual edits. Defiance. So this bill has passed and is likely to go through as it should. Obviously, this is an area that we need to make sure people are being protected by it. Not limit the technology, but certainly limit how it can be used and how it can be used against people, and make it easier for people to protect their images and protect themselves in such a world where those things are possible. Another thing the Senate has been up to, 5 Senate Democrats. This is a good tweet from Andrew Way. Sent a letter to Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, with 12 questions. Question number 9 was, will OpenAI commit to making its next foundation model available to U.S. government agencies for pre-deployment testing, review, analysis, and assessment? I got a feeling Sam Altman's going to say no freaking way, because why would you hand over your proprietary information to the government? But I also understand the thoughts behind that, and I think maybe there needs to be a middle ground somewhere around that to figure these things out. But if I was Sam Altman and if it was mine, I'd be like, no, I'm not going to give you my information. But that is something, again, going back to what I was talking about with CloudStrike and where we're at with those things, that is something we need to look at and figure these things out, and kind of protecting these companies, in some instances from themselves, and figuring that out. But I highly doubt that is going to happen, but they're requesting it. So we'll see. I did talk about Harvey the other day. Then they did. They were originally going for more money because they were going to make an acquisition. And Harvey is a law, specifically, it's a co-pilot for lawyers, basically, and is backed by OpenAI. So again, this is taking that something that's a large language model that you could do on all these platforms, but making it specific. And Harvey just deals with lawyers and allows for this to help lawyers in there. So they did a Series C fundraising. Originally, they're going to do 250 million, and the reason behind that is when they wanted to purchase another company, but they looking at that, the venture capitalists and everything said, yeah, it's only going to help you if you buy them. So why would we give you the money to do that? So then they kind of changed their valuation, but they now have officially raised $100 million to continue to do that. So good luck to the people at Harvey in doing that. So, and one last story, Lumi, the new AI startup that is launched by Colin Kaepernick to give creators the tools and skills they don't have around, say, comic writing, creating graphic, illustrators, create text. So it's all around creators. It said Lumi, free the creator, bring your stories to life with Lumi, Lumi. So it's lumistory.ai. So I thought that was interesting. Colin Kaepernick has been busy working on that and releasing that company as an AI startup. So obviously, like all weeks, there's plenty of other news and different stories out there. These are some of the ones I wanted to highlight. But as always, there's new tools available. So you can go ahead and go to my website, arcasysllc.com, and click on the AI tool database. We're always adding more tools on there. So if you have any questions around that, I'm looking at the stage here, and as I'm looking at it, I realize, Chima, I never got back to you on the video things, and I owe you a message on Instagram on that. So we did converse a little bit, but I had to get that over to you. But I do have a couple tools up there for that and some other things. So as always, check that out, or you can hit me up there on Instagram. And if you have any questions around AI, please let me know. So that is your week in AI. I'm going to end my stream for YouTube and Facebook.